Welcome to the Jacksonville Momcast, a podcast dedicated to real stories for real parents. Each episode, we'll chat with local Jacksonville moms and cover topics to help you navigate mom life on the First Coast. Thanks for joining us as we tackle all things motherhood and more with a focus on the 904. Welcome to episode 10 of Jacksonville Momcast. Episode 10 is our last episode for season 1. And today, our guest is Patty Soud. Patty is the owner of Fitness by Patty, and in this episode, she chats with us about how she got started as a fitness instructor. We'll also discuss her philosophy on fitness that she shares with her clients. Lastly, Patty gives us some tips to help moms achieve those fitness goals they've set for themselves, as well as how to manage your fitness expectations while balancing the demands of motherhood. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to episode 10. Today our guest is Patty Soud. And Patty, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how long you've lived in Jacksonville and how many kids you have, things like that.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is exciting. I've got 2 kids, a son and a daughter. My son is 4.5. My daughter is 2. They're the most amazing kids. Of course, every mom will say that. But I do truly think that about them. I have the best, most supportive, loving husband I could have ever wished and dreamed for. I've lived in Jacksonville for almost ever. I grew up in Orange Park. My parents were in the Navy. I was born in the Philippines. But I've lived at the beach for the past 10 years. So we started out in Atlantic Beach, rented a space, and then found a house 6 years ago here in Neptune Beach. So it's been fun. It's been a wild, exciting ride.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about Fitness by Patty and kind of what you do on a professional level.
Sure. So I've been in business for myself. I've actually been Fitness by Patty, quote, for 10 years, but I've been doing personal training for 17 years. Oh God, don't ask me how old I am. Makes me feel old. But I like to think I take a holistic approach to like whole body fitness and health and just helping people find out ways to help them live a better quality, better active lifestyle. Finding what works for you, in particular, your schedule, the foods you enjoy, the things you like to do, and like how to get the most quality out of your time and your efforts and your experience doing things. I know a lot of people find that coming and training with me has been probably the best experience they've had. At least this is what my wonderful clients tell me. Because it's very personal. It's very confidential. Every client knows that when they walk in. You can use the session as a therapy time. Like you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You don't have to talk at all. You can just come and get your butt kicked. Really whatever you need. Like I will meet you where you are. And I don't judge. It's really different. I've had people come and like, oh, I used to work with a trainer and I'm nervous to work with you because the past trainer did this, and this. And I'm like, oh, wait, don't judge me either. We're new people. Like let's just come together and figure out what's going to be best for you. I really, truly, deep down in my soul, I believe like people need to be heard. They need to be loved. They need to love themselves, like figure out a way to do that. And we just have so many things to throw at ourselves. And I feel like, this is a safe place for us to be.
So let's talk about what type of services you offer with Fitness by Patty.
Oh, sure. Kind of a lot, actually. Even though I'm a sole operator, I offer one-on-one personal training, partner training, small groups, although COVID, we're limiting it to a few people who know each other at a time. My signature service is called Range of Motion Stretch Therapy. It's something I've developed over the years. I went to college for athletic training. I worked with the rehab centers. I was going to go on to physical therapy school and become a physical therapist. And I thought for me, that wasn't the right fit. So I went back into training and I used all of the knowledge that I accumulated and just put it towards that and helping my clients see the best results. I take more of a rehab feel to it, prehab, rehab. I like to keep you safe. I don't want to see you get hurt. I want you to live for a long time and live well. So the range of motion stretch therapy is really the best thing that I can claim as my own. I made it up. So that, and then I do a lot of pool training, so aquatherapy, whether you have injuries or you just want to try something different. Some athletes will come and train in a different way. It's just another way to move your body that's not typical. There's a lot of people who would like to try and learn how to swim. I'm not a swim instructor, but it just so happens that they do learn. And even if you don't want to swim and put your head underwater, there's so much you can do in the water, and it's good for your joints, but it still works your muscles really well. I take more of a functional stance to exercise, so I incorporate a lot of balance and core, a lot of flexibility, coordination, agility, stamina, all of the things. It's like a big umbrella. I like to have it all. So I like to give it all, if that makes sense.
That's great. And so let's talk a little bit. You mentioned, balance and core. I think those relate so much to being a mom and so much to just even what physically is expected of you when you become a mom and having to carry everything and carry a little person and a bag full of stuff. So let's talk about being a mom and trying to get into shape. What do you think are some of the hardest things that moms have to overcome?
Oh gosh, the hardest thing I would probably have to say is just making the time for oneself. I mean myself. That means everybody's self. We're so about making sure that everybody has everything they need. Everybody's doing what they need to do to get on with their day, and that leaves really little time, if no time, for us. I'll just speak for me. For ourselves to take care of ourselves. Like, you feed everybody, then maybe the food is gone, or maybe you don't have the time to feed yourself. That little step, it all adds up. And then, when do you actually get to work? You took everybody else to their, practices or games or whatever it is. And then that just eats up your time. When do you really get to do you time? That's honestly, I think that's the hardest part about it. But for me and myself, I have learned just recently, really, just to take charge. Like, you cannot pour from an empty glass. Like, you have got to fill yourself up in order to give more. You can't love someone else without loving yourself. So it's time for you.
I think those are great tips. And I think that's true. I think finding time, I know as a mom, for me, that's the hardest. And then when you finally have time, you're exhausted. So it's really like carving out time before you hit that wall.
Yes. And wherever it fits into your schedule, like, I would love to sleep in, trust me. Now I can't because the kids are up. And then I would love to be that person who wakes up at 4 or 5 in the morning and just get going. But I have to prepare things for everybody. So now I've switched my schedule around to where I wanted to be that, so I am going to be that. You know what? I'm going to get everything ready the night before or the couple days in advance. And that means I kind of have to plan backwards. So meal planning, that means you go to the store. I go to the store on a Sunday and I prepare the list of meals we're going to have for the week. And you start making those things. And a few times during the week, we'll do like a roasted veggie, do an easy chicken bake. Like, I have to really think about it before it gets done. Otherwise, it's going to get to the point I'm like, I got nothing. Here we are. We're going to go out to eat, or just pick something up. And I don't like that feeling. I like to feel like I'm in charge of it. I like to feel that empowerment, that we all just wish to have. And you can get it. It just takes time and planning, honestly.
I think a lot of moms can absolutely relate to that in terms of, the weeks that you really have it together and the weeks that you very much do not have it together.
Yes, it's real.
So if I'm a mom looking to get fit, what are your recommendations as far as where to start? Someone who's never really had any type of fitness plan, never really had any type of meal planning, what are your kind of, steps to get it rolling?
I think the best place to start is with your nutrition. Like, get that under control. Like, be honest with yourself. Write down everything you eat in a day, in a week. How often do you go out? What are the things that you choose? What are you snacking on? What are those mindless things that you're putting into your body that aren't being accounted for? And like, how much do you drink? Are you getting enough water in a day? Like, those little things is huge. Like, start thinking about that first and foremost. And then physically, start with body weight exercises. Like, do a plank, like just start moving your body. See how you can just get more active every day. Go for a walk, bike ride with your kids, like take the stairs, park further away. Like those little things will add up. And when you're really ready to get fit and get in shape, I mean, everybody has a shape. We need to get physically fit. Start moving. Bodyweight exercises. If you want to add more resistance, use small weights, resistance bands, balancing on one leg. I know I told you earlier, I included a lot of balance in my training. It's so interesting how much your body will feel the muscles being used with just, for example, standing on one leg and like brushing your teeth or doing calf raises while you wash the dishes, you know, like little things like that. You just incorporate it all. I think that's a good place to start.
I think so too. I think that's some good tips for those of us that may be looking to start a fitness program and not really sure, you know, how to start.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, I've had so many people come through and just like men and women, to be honest, they're like, oh, I used to do this and I used to do like, you've got to be patient with yourself. Like that was a whole nother lifetime ago. Like meet you where you are now and figure out what will work without putting extra stress on yourself to be what you used to do. Yeah, now you might have some back injuries. Well, then you can get a ROM session. I can work it out for you. But no, to be real, you really have to just more self-love and be patient. It will come with time.
Absolutely. So let's talk, you touched a little on nutrition and the importance of nutrition. For you, how important is nutrition when we talk about overall fitness?
Oh, so important. Whoa. Like people used to say it was like 80% diet, 20% exercise or whatever, vice versa. And I truly believe, and over time in this experience I've had, 90% is all about the food. Like when it comes to really seeing a change, it's not just from the outside. There is so much internal going on. Like so many people now, you hear about them having gut issues, and yeah, part of it is like the anxiety that builds up in your gut. And but it's the stuff that you put in. It's the crackers that you eat on the go. It's like a little bag of, you know, pretzels or like the processed food. It may seem so minimal, and yes, on a bigger scale it may be, but to be honest, like you're still putting it into your system and it's still living there. And how fast you eat, like the time a lot of us scarf our food down, you know, like we're on the go. So we just have to slow it down, like be intentional about it. But it's so important what you eat and how it relates to how you're going to look and perform with fitness in mind.
And I think especially as moms that, you know, eating on the go, not paying attention,
Totally.
Finishing your kids' mac and cheese that's left on their plate, or like those
Yep.
extra bites, like you said, they add up and you don't even realize, you know, it's totally unconscious eating. It's just, you know, it's here. So I'm going to shove it in my mouth because I haven't had dinner.
Yes, I'm guilty of that. I mean, I grew up, my parents were like, you cannot leave the dinner table until you finish every morsel. I mean, I got really creative. I used to shove it in a napkin if I didn't like it, but they're like, you are not going to waste food. We're not millionaires. You know, like I so now appreciate that. I'm like, you know, I do need a whole balanced meal to feel right. And there are days when I've gone and fed everybody, and then I eat the scraps. I'm like, well, I guess that was enough for now. I don't want to eat too many calories. And then I'm like, what am I talking about? I need the calories. I haven't eaten hardly anything all day. Some days, you know, and those are the days where I'm like, I didn't have a plan. I really should have, you know, mapped it out or had it together. And then I'm like, okay, well, again, be easy on oneself. It happens. I'm like back and forth.
It's like a full cycle of.
Yes.
So now let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of exercise. So, you know, once you're going to get your nutrition under control, what are some of the overall health benefits to starting an exercise program?
Girl, do we even have enough time for this? So many benefits to exercising. First, stress relief is a huge one. I mean, overarching is stress relief. It will help you lower the risk for diseases, heart disease, diabetes, type of cancers, managing your weight. It'll help improve your mental health, your mood, your attitude. Exercise helps you sleep, helps you strengthen your bones, and it helps to slow the loss of bone density as we age. And I do have a lot of senior clients who have gotten tests from their doctors. They're like, wow, look at your numbers now. What have you been doing? You know, the list goes on and on. I mean, that you just can't there's not enough time. So many benefits.
Yeah, we could do like a whole separate podcast about,
Total
just the
different.
benefits of exercise.
Yes.
Those are some great highlights to kind of hit to get people thinking about, especially the sleep. And as moms, you're already sleep deprived, and
Yeah,
just sleep a little better, having used your body more.
definitely. No, and I have a lot of middle-aged clients too, and just as women, and now as moms, like so much is hormonal, and it's like that big cloud of uncertainty. Like, I'm just gonna blame it on my hormones, like the weight gain, and it's so much about sleep and food and exercise. But yeah, there's that little segment that's like, oh, hormones, darn you. But when you get a good night's sleep, you feel it. Oh my gosh, do you feel it?
You do. That's a good point about the hormones. So let's talk about 2021. So full disclosure for our listeners, we're recording this a little bit in advance so we could have the holidays off. But let's look forward to 2021. Now, 2020 was, best case scenario, kind of a dumpster fire for most of us. We were home a lot of our activities were limited, our kids were home for part of it. We're still kind of dealing with a lot of the fallout from COVID. So a lot of people are going to be setting goals for 2021, looking forward to a new year. What are some tips to help them follow through with those fitness related, nutritional related resolutions so that, at the end of January, we're not all back where we started from?
Yeah, good. I would have to say a lot of it is the daily routine. You need to be prepared, be prepared for 2021. Be prepared with your foods, with the meals that you're going to make or eat. Just plan it out for the week or for the month or however that looks for you. Not overbooking your calendar. I know that's really hard for us to do. I mean, easy to say, very hard to do. But truly, you have control over a lot more than you may give yourself credit for. So just don't overbook. Really, I will be honest, I have a hard time saying no. And it may be that little part of, me that has FOMO. I don't want to miss out. And I want to be a part of so much stuff. But then there's, again, little time left for me. And I need to reassess and get back to okay, I got to fill my cup too. Another thing, mix it up. Your workouts, mix it up. If you're doing the same thing all the time, and I just had a client yesterday come through. She's new. She's like, I've only ever just ran. I mean, it's what she knows, what she's comfortable with. She saw no results from it, only injuries. So you mix it up. You start strength training. You hire a trainer. Hire me. You can go for a bike ride. Try rollerblading. There's so many different things that you can do to mix up exercise. We just went to the mountains, took my mother-in-law. She's never hiked a day in her life. She's a beautiful 65-year-old woman, and she did amazing. She did amazing. And then at the end of the trip, she's like, I feel good, but tired but good. Her body, her bones, her joints, her muscles felt like they were used. We were made for this. We're made to move, not sit around. But yeah, no, just mix it up.
Mixing it up's a good tip. And especially like you talked about earlier, have 2021 be the year that you make your health a priority. I think it's so important for everybody out there, not just the moms.
Definitely.
So what are some realistic fitness or health related resolutions for moms? We don't want to go into 2021 saying, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and we're going to eat all clean every meal. And, I'm never going to eat anything processed. I think that sometimes we go for the extreme and really set ourselves up for disappointment. So what are some of those small steps or more realistic resolutions we can make this year?
I guess first, stop worrying about the number on the scale. Even though you may truly need to lose weight, don't focus on that so much. Accept what is, love it, give yourself positive affirmations, fill yourself with positivity, listen to positivity, look for positivity, find, be grateful, start a gratitude jar. I know these aren't fitness related, but it is health related, mental health, emotional health, spiritual, and some physical. Instead of doing that, maybe you get an outfit that you try to fit into, start feeling better about it, in a reasonable size that you feel like you got your sexy back. And then take time. I mean, now that you are thinking in that direction, you can plan ahead. So what's it going to take? Sometimes you have to work backwards. What's the ultimate goal? Okay, let's back it up. If weight loss is it, then you check into your nutrition. You start recording your foods. Or if you're working with me, for example, personal trainer, I have my clients take pictures of their meals so I can see, oh, you didn't actually write that down, but what's that thing over there? Wasn't really helpful to, your goal. Little stuff like that. Going for the week, put in, 3 times a week, you work out strength training. Maybe 2 days a week, you go for a long walk or a bike ride, or you pick up a new sport with a friend, like once, twice a month, just something attainable. It's got to be like small changes along the way. You can't do it all at once. Nobody can do it all the time. So figure that out, map it out. It's helpful to see that. Some people make vision boards. I like to see a list or a calendar of, so I have like an idea of, okay, this, that's going to be a really busy day, but the next day I can totally figure out a chunk of time that I can make for me.
I like the idea of the list. I'm a list maker too, so I can appreciate the idea of, listing out your week and kind of going back, tracking and plugging in where you have time.
Yeah.
And I love the way you promote a holistic, because I think that a lot of times as moms, we don't talk about how important your mental health, your spiritual health, like all the healths are important, not just your physical.
Right. Yes.
So as far as Jacksonville, do you have any favorite local spots for working out? Any favorite parks or places you recommend? And then along with that, any other healthy eating locations we should try this year?
Yeah, sure. I live in Neptune Beach, so Jarbo Park is my favorite go-to. And I know that they're doing some renovations right now. Like they just put up some fences for some type of expansion. I don't know the details, but I'm excited. They have pull-up bars, a push-up station, like a dip bar station, like a bunch of different things. And then Sunshine Park did a big, redesign too. And a lot of people love going there. So that's fun. Those are the 2 parks out here at the beach that I would frequent. Unfortunately, I don't go into town as much anymore, but I know almost every park has a monkey bar or some stable pole that you can bring resistance bands or a TRX strap to and hook up to it and just move. And talking about the foods, I love Deli-Comb, Homespun Kitchen, Native Sun, Mick Flamingos. Those are probably my 4 top faves out here at the beach.
Those are some good ones. I've never tried Mick Flamingos. Where is that located?
It's down near the Sawgrass area.
Now that we talked about like mom nutrition, let's talk about how that kind of trickles down to the rest of the family. If you're the one prepping the meals and you're the one doing the grocery shopping, inevitably your kids are the ones that are going to be eating that healthy food. So what are some tips you have as far as incorporating good nutrition for our kids?
Oh, where do I start? I will start with sugar and balanced meals. So I'm a firm believer in balancing your meals, macronutrients. We need carbs, fats, proteins, and we need a lot of vegetables for the vitamins, minerals, and fruits. So my sweet for them, because I had and still do have a sweet tooth, I use fruit as their desserts, also as their snacks, but that's like their little treat. They would easily want to eat all the fruit before any real meal. But I put a cap on that. I'm like, okay, if you eat let's just, for example, say your chicken and your vegetables and your potatoes first, then your dessert will be, raspberries, strawberries, like the sweet ones, or whatever it is their favorite. So I save that after a meal for them, so they're not going to fill up on it. I know that every child is different, that maybe have an allergy to something, or just have a funny feeling about certain foods, or an idea in their head that they just don't like it, but they've never tried it. Something else I've done with my kids, I know they're still kind of young, but I've always made sure that my facial expressions don't reflect like my feelings about food. Like, I used to hate Brussels sprouts. Now they're my number 1 favorite green vegetable. And so what I would tell my kids is, you take a courtesy bite, you try it. If you don't like it, you swallow the one and you don't have to take any more, but at least try it. And I give a lot of credit to Daniel Tiger. We watched a lot of that, and they have a little segment on, you gotta try new foods because they might taste good. And then now we sing the song every time. And it reminds him like, oh yeah, they were trying all those foods and it's different. Some are crunchy, some are soft, some are sweet, some are sour. I remind him of that and it's fun. Like I always try to bring that element of fun and make it a song or a dance or call it something silly. So it makes it fun for kids. So I think that with the balance of the foods, when it comes to like treats and like fast grab foods to go out to the park or something, it's tough. As a kid, I loved like Cheetos and that kind of thing. Cheese balls, anything cheesy, crunchy, salty. That was my go-to. So I have found these hippies. They're vegan Cheetos. The first time I was like, I don't know. But then they really grew on me. Now we love them. So just like doing a little bit of research or asking around, finding some better version with better ingredients that kind of is like what you loved before. And so it's just kind of a little bit of a change of taste bud. I have to do that with the adults too. Like try it out for a little while, retrain your taste buds, and you will see like you will like it. Now they love it. And the regular Cheeto, it hurts his stomach. It's the processing that they put in the ingredients that they use and the way that they process their food. So
I love the idea of the courtesy bite. My kids are a little bit older and I was so excited when we go to the pediatrician and they ask about their eating habits and they talk to the kids about how your taste buds change as you get older and how you have to keep trying foods. And then I think they said 15 times or 20 times you try something and you might not like it 15 times. And then the 16th time, all of a sudden you like it. So I just think it's so, that one bite really can make a difference.
Yeah. And I used to, like when the kids were real young, when you're just now starting foods, I think I started them on like avocado, sweet potato, peas or something. I wanted to get in like the vegetables first, but I knew that like sweet would be an exciting flavor. So I tried to hold off on that.
So talk to me a little bit about how important it is to have a friend or even a colleague to be your accountability partner.
Oh, that's huge. I mean, I think I'm in business and even still have a job because of the accountability aspect. Like having somebody to answer to, because otherwise you're on your own. You're like, I'm going to go do whatever I want. And then nothing may even get done. When you have an accountability partner and it's serious, like you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let yourself down, but they're the extra person that's like watching or waiting for you and will do it with you, like your own built-in personal cheerleader. And to be honest, that's what I do for my clients. I am their life personal cheerleader, always checking in. And that's what just a buddy will do for you. Like you don't have to be alone. We're already alone in so many things and aspects of our life, especially now with the COVID. We don't have to be alone. Like find that person who brings you joy, who can help you become a better person, and you can help them become better too.
And I think it's important to point out that you don't have to be at the same place in your fitness to have an accountability partner. So you can have a friend who's maybe very fit and runs marathons and you're just starting out and it's just like that text message saying, hey, did you get a chance to take a walk today? Or, hey, send me a picture of what your dinner looks like. Or, just that, like you said, that connection is so important.
Yeah, connection, the inspiration, just like, oh yeah, I used to do that. Or that's a really good idea. We pull from each other, like we're made to be connected and using each other for that.
Well, thank you so much, Patty. We're going to put a link to your business, Fitness by Patty, as well as some of the things we talked about today in the show notes. So if anybody is looking to try to find you, they can click easily and find out more about what you offer. And that's it for today.
Thank you so much.
With this episode, we wrap up our first season of Jacksonville Momcast. We're going to be taking a month off from recording, but we'll be working hard behind the scenes to gear up for season 2. If you're a Jacksonville mom or you know a mom here in town who has a story to share or who would be a good guest for our show, email us at info@jacksonvillemomcast.com. We're also going to open up season 2 to advertisers. So if you know a business that would be a good fit, feel free to reach out with that information as well. If you've enjoyed season 1, we encourage you to like our social media channels, share this podcast with a friend, and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. I also wanted to take a second to thank all of our season 1 guests who helped make this podcast a success, even in the midst of a pandemic. They were able to adjust, adapt, and roll with the changes as moms do on a daily basis. For more information about our show, you can always visit us online at jacksonvillemomcast.com. Thanks for listening.